My dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer just as the album The Rising came out, and once he was diagnosed, he didn't live for very long. And my dad was my best friend, he was my rock, and he was my guiding light. And that was gone when he died. Now, I'd always been a big Springsteen fan and been to a bunch of shows and certainly enjoyed all the music, but the album The Rising was a whole lot different. It really took things to a different level. It was like the album reached into my heart and held up my grief and helped me understand it. I think the album goes through all the phases of grief, the mixed emotions, the questions, the wondering about how are you going to carry on, realizing that life has changed and it's changed forever and it's not going to go back to the way it was. For the 6 months after my dad died and the album was just out, I used to get up very early in the morning so I could take an extra hour to drive to work just so that I could listen to the whole album before I faced the rest of the world. And you know, I've heard Bruce say that good music gives you something with which to face the world. But I think that album goes even further. There are the things that we know, and there are the things that we feel. And there's that space in between. And I think the music bridges that gap and builds a faith in life. You know, when we don't have the words to express what we're feeling, we've got too many questions to try and find our own answers, we can still point to a song and say, I can feel myself in that. That's what I'm feeling. And that's the craft of the album The Rising, where Bruce writes these songs and they may be specific narratives, but they give you an entry point of finding yourself and identifying yourself so you can say, I'm feeling all of that too. From asking the question about how am I going to get through this lonesome day, the searching and longing for some kind of normalcy when you're in that grief. The album just goes through those songs, you know, the feelings of being scared, coming to terms, accepting it and saying, okay, I need some help here to rise up. I need my friends and family around me. The whole album was just a real companion to my grief. And I mean, I know he wrote the songs originally about Asbury Park and the events of 9/11, but it's that craft in the songwriting where you can find yourself in the music. And that's that bridge between the things you know and the things you feel. It helps reestablish yourself in the world and gives you something with which to face the world. And that's an important reminder, because as unique and different as all our situations are, you know, at our core, we feel a lot of the same things. At times, all of us feel angry or hurt, or that the world has done something wrong to us and owes us. But we can't live with those feelings forever. They're just not very productive, and you've got to move on. And the album builds to that with My City of Ruins, Rising Up. This past summer, saw Bruce and the band at Toronto at the Rogers Centre, and when he performed My City of Ruins, he talked about the ghosts that travel with us on our journey. And it just hit me like a truck, because he talked about how we honor our ghosts in what we do. We don't need to hold on to fear. We need to honor those who came before us and are still traveling with us. So that's what I'm trying to do. So thanks, Bruce. I owe you one.